Hi, my name is Nathan. You're watching Nice at Dice, and today I am taking a look at this little pack of cards. It's an expansion for the game Mystic Vale called Mystic Vale Evergreen. This is not going to be a full review of the expansion. I just got this expansion, just opened it up today, haven't had a chance to play with it yet. But I think that this video might still be helpful for you. Because if you are not someone who has played a lot of Mystic Vale, I can tell you right away that this expansion is probably not something you're going to be interested in. If, on the other hand, you have played a lot of Mystic Vale, then I think just seeing the contents of this expansion will give you a pretty good idea of whether or not it's right for you. So I'm going to take you through what's in the expansion, kind of give you an overview of what's there, a little peek at all the different cards, and then we'll come back up here and I'll give you some impressions of it. Again, not really a full review, but I will give you some thoughts on what is included in this expansion. So let's take a look at the cards, and then we'll be right back up here. As you can see, Evergreen is a pretty small, slim pack of cards, and we'll get right into it. You have a card on the back that just kind of gives you some information on the product. We have a little card on the front that serves as the cover of the product, and it gives you some instructions about how to use the cards in it. It's all pretty straightforward for anyone who is familiar with Mystic Vale. Then you get right into the player cards. So we have some of these advancements. We've got a good number of different advancements. We have a clan mother. Let's see if I can get this to focus on that a little bit better. That might be about as good as we're going to get. But basically this one is when played, you may use one when played ability on this card a second time. So it basically lets you double up on another ability on the same card. So you've got that. We have a Shroom Shambler. This guy says, when played, if you have 3 or less cards in your field, gain 1 growth icon. So it's kind of a nice little thing. It'll help you from spoiling, too early before you get very many cards out there. And then we have the Raven Seer, which says, when played, gain a point from the box for each helmet on this card. That's a pretty cool little ability. We have the Totem Construct, which says, when played, draw and keep a level 1 Veil from the top of the level 1 Veil deck. So that gives you a level 1 Veil right away. You can completely bypass the need for the spirit symbols. So that's a pretty cool ability. I like it a lot. It's a cost 5 card, and it has a decay icon on it. So not great from that perspective, but still a pretty cool ability there. Then we have a Fey Folk Pupil. When played, you may discard this card. So that might be a nice thing to put on a card that has a decay symbol on it. And then we have a Dreamcatcher, which is worth 2 points. And it has this ability here, which says, when played, choose and discard up to 2 other cards in your field. So again, gives you the ability to remove some cards that might have some of those decay symbols on. So there you go. Kind of interesting little set of advancements there. We have a few Veil cards. We have the Mycoglen, which during prep or planting, you may discard this card to use all when played abilities on cards in your field a second time. That's pretty neat. We have a Druid Council, which has an ongoing effect. Your cards with at least one when played ability each have 1 additional helmet. So that's pretty cool. And then we have the Marshland, which during prep you may place 1 card in your field at the bottom of your deck. Pretty nice. And then we have Untamed Forest, which has an ongoing ability. Whenever you use a when played ability, gain 1 point from the box. That's a pretty strong card. I like it a lot. Paired with the right advancements, that's going to be pretty powerful. All right, and then we have these Conclave cards. So in the Conclave expansion, you had these cards which were provided basically for the Conclave expansion and all the previous expansions. And these Conclave cards, as you probably know, just list some advancements, and on the other side, some Veil cards. And you can kind of shuffle these up, or you can look through them and pick a few of them and use these lists of cards on the conclaves to construct your Commons deck and your Veil decks. So you have one Conclave card for the cards that come in this expansion. So the cards that come in the expansion are basically a Conclave's worth of cards. So you have that. Then you have Conclave cards for the expansions that came out after the Conclave's expansion. So namely Twilight Garden and Harmony. So you have 6 cards for Twilight Garden and 6 cards for Harmony. So that is what comes in the expansion. Let's go back up top, and I'll just give you some impressions of this. Okay, so again, remember this isn't really a full review. I haven't actually played with any of the contents of this expansion, just kind of my general impressions of it. I like the advancements and the new Veil cards. They're interesting. Nothing really, earth-shattering, nothing too groundbreaking here, but they look like they'd be fun to play with. I like the ones that let you discard cards. That's pretty interesting. I like that totem construct that lets you just grab a Veil card without having to collect the spirit icons. That's pretty cool. So those are some of the ones that stand out to me the most, and also that Untamed Forest Veil card, which has the ongoing ability whenever you use a when played ability, gain a point from the box. I think that's a pretty cool ability there. Now the Conclave cards, I'm glad that they have them. Some people like the Conclave, some people don't, so that's going to be, to your personal preference whether or not these are useful to you. But I like the fact that they have the Conclave card for the cards in the expansion, and now you have the Conclave cards for the Twilight Garden and Harmony expansions. Just probably because I'm a completionist by nature, I like having that. But also, if you do like using the Conclaves, it's nice to have those cards for the other expansions that have come out since they introduced the concept. Now, one thing that is still missing is you don't have Conclave cards for the most recent expansion prior to this one, which was Nemesis. So we still don't have Conclave cards for that. But you're caught up as far as Twilight Garden and Harmony. So I think overall, if you don't play a lot of Mystic Vale, you're probably not even interested in this expansion. If you do play a lot of Mystic Vale, I think it's probably a pretty decent little pack of cards. It adds just enough new advancement cards and Veil cards to kind of inject a little more new life into the game. And then those Conclave cards may or may not be useful to you depending on how you feel about using the Conclave cards. I really like this. I wouldn't mind seeing another expansion like this, just another little pack that includes maybe another Conclave's worth of cards, Conclave card for those cards, Conclave cards for the Nemesis expansion, which would then be the only expansion. It's now the only expansion we don't have Conclaves for, so that would fill that gap. And then you'd still have room for maybe 6 more cards, so I say put in like 6 Nemesis to kind of flesh that out, add some more options there for Nemesis if you're using that variant of the game introduced in the Nemesis expansion. I think that'd be a nice little expansion pack. And then I actually wouldn't even mind if maybe once or twice a year they put out another little expansion like this that had a Conclave's worth of cards, a Conclave card for those cards, a new Leader, Nemesis, and Totem card, and then if they could do it, if it was practical to do, put in a little piece of cardboard that lets you punch out a new amulet. I think that's what they're called. The mana tokens that have different abilities. I think those are called amulets. Anyway, so you get like you get a few new advancements, a few new veils, and then one of each of like the other types of components in the game. I think that would be pretty cool. There's a lot of content for Mystic Vale right now, so I feel like putting out big expansions for the game is going to be difficult for them to continue to do. But I think if you just put out 1 or 2 little expansions like that every year, it gives you just a little taste of something new in every category for the game, and that would be pretty cool. So overall, I like this expansion, Mystic Vale Evergreen. I think it's a good expansion if you play the game a lot. If you don't play the game a lot, totally skippable. So, just my first impressions. Hopefully that gave you enough information about the expansion to inform your buying decisions. Again, my name is Nathan. This is Nice at Dice. Thank you so much for watching, and you enjoy the rest of your day.